I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for August 23rd, 2023. The current time now is 6 p.m. We'll have the prayer led by Councilman Olivier, and we have Mr. Dwayne Menard that's going to lead us in the pledge. Mr. Olivier?
In the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Lord, guide us tonight to do your good work. We ask you to bless all our community in Iberia Parish. As we focus on the future of Iberia Parish, we ask you to open our minds to all the possibilities to make our parish strong. Not to focus just on my needs, but the needs of the whole parish. Thank you for all you have given us in good times and bad. Guide us to grow as a community for the future of our children and grandchildren. We ask you to protect those who are facing hurricanes, floods, and fires. Protect them and keep them safe. Protect our troops here and abroad, serving to protect our great country we live in. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Mr. Dwayne, if you can step to the mic and start the prayer, the pledge for us, sir.
Oh, my God.
That's good. All right, go ahead, my friend. That's good.
That's
Go
good.
ahead.
That's good.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
It's Dwayne's birthday tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad he was able to join us tonight. Happy 60th birthday, sir. Thank you, Mr. Olivier, for the prayer, and I'll need the clerk to start the roll call for me. Madam Clerk?
Francis Pollard. Michael Landry. Marcus Broussard. Lloyd Brown. Warren Gotchison.
Here.
Natalie Broussard. Paul Landry. James Trahan. Scott Ronsonet. Eugene Olivier. Brian Napier. Lady Fontenette Brown. Scott Saunier. Chad Montcherin.
We have 13 members in the quorum. I need a motion to go into public session. I have that by Councilman Pollard and second by Councilman Ronsonet. Roll call, members. Vote your machines to go into public hearing. At the top, begin voting. Go ahead, members. Councilman Brown. Councilman Napier, you finished voting, members? That motion carries. We're now into public comments. Is there anyone to address the agenda items in general public? Didn't see anybody. Do we receive any requests, members? Hearing none, I need a motion to go back into regular session. You have to press wait, you got to clear it. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard and a second by Councilman Pollard. Roll call, members. Those in favor. Councilman Brown.
Well, hold on. All right.
He's on. He was on.
Thank you so much.
Okay. That motion carries. We're now back into public session, community events, and public service announcements. There is none. Reports from finance and administrative actions. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Balance sheets for July 2023 on request email to the council.
Number 2,
Budget reports for July 2023 on request email to the council.
reports from parish and other governmental agencies. Number 1.
Monthly building report for the month of July 2023 in packets.
Members, just for the record, I believe Councilman Landry spoke about it on the radio. We had a really good permit month in July. Is that correct, Mr. Landry? If you want to say that, over $3 million, correct?
Listen,
I didn't. I had a farmer call me about that. He
well,
enlightened me on that.
I'd like to make an official announcement that you're invited every Tuesday at 12:30,
Mr. Landry, I appreciate that,
and I'll
sir.
have a sandwich for you.
Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Mr. John Morso with Police Jury Association to thank and congratulate Iberia Parish for their participation.
Mr. John, if you could state your name and title for the public record, please.
My name's John Morso. I am police juror in Jeff Davis Parish, and I'm currently the president of the Police Jury Association of the state of Louisiana. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak to y'all tonight. And in the spirit of that, of thanking Iberia Parish, I want to tell you all thank you for being longtime members of our parish association, which is in 2024, we're going to celebrate our 100-year anniversary. Not only has Iberia Parish been a member of long standing, but they have been very active throughout the years our association has served our state. In fact, as I stand here tonight, you have 2 members of this body currently serving on the executive board of the association. Parish President Larry Richard is a member at large, and Councilman Eugene Olivier is currently serving as our second vice president. These guys, along with the board of directors, work daily with association staff to make sure that we are problem solving and advocating for local governments and police juries throughout the state. Our association has a great staff, led by Mr. Guy Cormier, our executive director. Guy also serves as our legislative director for state and national issues. He, along with board officers, have weekly conference calls during our legislative sessions. Myself, as an officer, and Mr. Olivier, we have been participating in those calls during the legislative session that just ended. We discussed over 250 bills that had an impact on local governments. While I'm talking about legislation, we also legislate on a national level. I can't thank Iberia Parish enough for being members of NACO, National Association of Counties. NACO has been working on behalf of more than 3,000 parishes, counties, and boroughs to ensure that our federal administration and Congress recognize the importance of local government and the role we play in our communities. NACO is also very important when it comes to leading efforts for funding and advocating policy change. I want to take this time to thank many of you who have served on standing committees and are serving on standing committees, and recognize Mr. Olivier for the leadership positions he has held on various committees. In closing, I want to invite you all to attend our association's 100-year celebration that will be held in conjunction with our annual convention at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles, Louisiana on February 28, 29, and March 1st. I look forward to seeing you all there. I'm going to ask Guy to come up and say a few words. I want to tell y'all thank you for this opportunity. God bless Louisiana, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Mr. Cormier, it's not often that we get celebrities here. If you can just state your name for the record and sign our sheet at the door so we can have an autograph.
You know me. I mean, no. Guy Cormier, Executive Director of Police Jury
Thank you for being here,
Association.
sir.
And by the way, Warren, you run a heck of a meeting, man. I feel like I'm ADD, so it's like when Warren's like rolling, I'm like, let's roll. You know what I mean? But anyway, again, Executive Director of the association that John just spoke about, serving as our president. I too want to thank you for being not only a member, but our association will be 100 years old next year. And Iberia Parish was a charter member and has been a member for 100 years. So I tip my hat to you. Yeah. You deserve that. Before I go any further, I want to, because I've been there, I want to congratulate all, this is amazing. Y'all had 10 members go unopposed. This is incredible. But Mr. Pollard, Mr. Mike Landry, Mr. Marcus Broussard, Downtown Lloyd Brown, Mr. Gonchassan, Ms. Natalie Broussard, Dustin Swear, Mr. Tronholm, Mr. Napier, and Mr. Mathurin. Congratulations. I mean, it's a testament to what you do for your citizens. To Mr. Ronsonet and to Mr. Olivier, good luck in your races. I know Ms. Brown's not here, but I want to wish her luck as well. And I want to take this special time to just thank Scott Saunier for serving in District 13. You all know, because I've told you this story before, Marty Tronholm and I were dear friends, attended the same church, spent a lot of time with he and his family. In fact, my mother is now in Azalea Estates, and today I was visiting there, and I don't know if you even know it, but Mr. Elverse and Ms. Pooney are both at Azalea Estates. Moved them there last week. But Scott, you've done a fantastic job. I was able to work with Scott when he was CAO. I was parish president in St. Martin, as you all know, and Scott and I worked very closely together, but you couldn't have picked a better guy to serve in that position. So, Scott, thank you for your service. Although it was brief, I think the perfect guy to take Marty's place, and I just want to again just thank you for that. As I sit here just tonight, just the current work that we do in association is it's a pretty heavy lift, and Mr. Olivier and Mr. Richard can tell you as board members kind of what that entails. It's not just that we advocate on your behalf every day and push for you to have the right things, but just recently at our board meeting, as recent as last Friday, We decided as a draft, at least a draft, to adopt some policy priorities. We gave it to the board of directors. And I'm just read really quick the things that we're going to work on for next session, knowing that we have a brand new governor and a brand new legislator or legislative leadership. We're definitely going to have a brand new president of the Senate. We're definitely going to have a brand new Speaker of the House, because both those guys term limited out. You can't say that every year, because if you got a John Alario that's serving, you never know. You know what I mean? But at any rate, we're going to have all new leadership. So what the board has taken a look at as at least draft priorities is unfunded mandates, the things that the state makes us do but gives us no money to do. So we're working on trying to draft legislation to kind of carve some things that we currently do, kind of leaning more toward the state to fund those things more than anything else. Severance tax, sales tax, and property tax exemptions, the state gives all that away, leaving sometimes us to hold the bag and say, we still have to provide those services to Mr. Gotchasan's, constituents. However, we don't have the funding to do it because you just exempted all these sales taxes. So we're going to be working to do that. This one that's going to affect Iberia Parish, no doubt, is carbon capture and sequestration. A lot of conversation about that right now. The science is kind of out there, and people just really don't know what's going on. We want to be on the front end of that, so we want to talk about legislation dealing with that. Infrastructure itself and building back better. We've all experienced hurricanes, especially on the south coast, the southern coast of Louisiana. What does that look like? What does building back better look like if the state's going to push us to do certain things for our constituents? Risk rating 2.0, and this is going to affect Iberia Parish more so than any other parish. That's insurances, especially south of Highway 90. What is flood insurance going to look like for constituents who have mortgages? We want to be in the front end of that. We want to be in those conversations. So we want to, that's going to be one of our priorities, how we deal with FEMA. Resilience itself, just resilience and how we move Louisiana forward and looking at what we can do to mitigate stuff in future years. And so I just want to thank our Iberia Parish for being really on the cusp and always in the conversation about how we can do things better here in not only in Louisiana, but Iberia Parish and in the region as a whole. I do want to mention real quick that your dues for our membership haven't gone up since 1981. The reason we can do that because we have a couple of insurance programs that we run. Me as the executive director also serves as the administrator for a workers' comp insurance plan and a health insurance plan. I know Iberia has looked at our plans over the last few years. We will work with your agent. I'm here to plead to you that we will work with your agent, the current agent that you have, to give you prices on those things as we move forward. That's a bulk up what our revenues are, is running insurance programs that have been pretty successful. We've just recently gone in Assumption Parish and saved them thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on both health insurance, and we're currently looking at their workers' comp program. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I also want to invite you. John invited you to the full 100th year celebration next year, but Region 3 is going to have their meeting in St. Martin Parish, October 19th. It's not even out yet, but St. Martin Parish has decided to have it at Margaritaville RV Resort. So I don't know if you've been there, but it's the old Cajun Palms. Jimmy Buffett and his group bought it, and they've really done a number on it. So we'll be doing that. Mark your calendars, October 19th. The same time we'll be doing that, we'll have an election for a Region 3 member. So we have a Region 3 member who's currently serving, who term limits out. So he decided not to run for re-election. So there'll be an election at that particular meeting. And that's all I really have from our association standpoint. But from a personal standpoint, the last time you saw me, I was here asking you to get involved in a regional drainage project, like a regional drainage study. It's something that we can do it was after the floods of 2016. And I just want to really pat the backs of Iberia Parish because you've taken that seriously. And so we received some state funding, and you guys have done some major drainage projects in St. Martin and Lafayette. We're doing the same thing. But I can tell you that y'all parish of your word, because when I came here pleading to you that, a lot of your water had to drain through Iberia, through St. Martin, but also some are saying, well, Martin's water had to drain through here, and we wanted to work together with you. I remember Mr. Napier telling me, look, you got us, man. Whatever you need to do, we'll do it. Never knowing I was going to be running a statewide association. But I'm here to tell you that I still participate in those calls, and I kind of know what's going on here. And I just want to thank you. I will tell you that I know you just signed a big $1 billion deal with a company that's going to come in and create solar. Although that area that they're putting that plant in is one of the highest in probably Iberia Parish, it is prone to flood. And so that water there, a lot of it has to pass through St. Martin. And so I just want to thank you for working together with the region to get that done. So from a personal perspective, I'm excited to be here. Again, you heard me say earlier that my mother just got moved to Azalea Estates, so you're going to see me a lot more because I love my mother and I'll be visiting quite often. And just thank you for the good work that you're doing for the citizens of Iberia Parish. And I'll entertain any questions if you have, but I know Mr. Gotcha-Sands likes to roll through things, so I mean.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Cormier at this time?
Thank you for showing up.
Hearing none, we appreciate the team. Yeah, come, we can.
Police Jurisdiction Association has newsletters they put out every month or so, so it should be a nice picture, put it in the newsletter.
And Mr. President, I know I heard you on the phone earlier. I just want to wish you best of luck in your campaign as well for re-election. So I know you're here somewhere because I heard your voice earlier. So, Mr. Richard, thank you for your service and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Cormier, for being here. Appreciate it. Moving on to Public Works reports. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Public Works Department report for closed work orders dated July 12, 2023 through August 8, 2023.
Moving on to special business, there is none. Council member announcements. Let the record reflect that Lady Brown is in attendance. If you want to go ahead and do the request button, please. Councilman Olivier is recognized.
I'd like to remind everyone about the Grand Marais Community Development Town Hall meeting tomorrow night, starting at 6:30 p.m. All are invited to attend that meeting. Also to remind everyone about the Lydia Cancer Society Fall Fun Fest, okay? That's gonna be next month at the Lydia Park in Lydia. So everybody's welcome to attend that Fun Fest as well. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back, hearing no other requests to speak. Moving on to Councilwoman Brown next.
To announce that Generate will be hosting the first ever International French Bread Festival, October 7th, which is actually Generate's homecoming week as well. And so it's the first time that French bread will be celebrated in the state of Louisiana. And so it's scheduled October 7th, and it will be on the Main Street Pavilion in Generate, Louisiana. I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back. Any other? Hearing no other requests, moving on to parish president announcements. We do have President Richard on the phone. Mr. Richard, you do have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm actually in my office looking at everything that's going on in there, and it's pretty live tonight. I want to start off by making you guys aware that Donna McDonald is retiring next month, and we are going to be replacing or putting an interim person as the HR director. I'm going to get back with you guys later whenever we figure out, or I figure out, who that person is going to be, because that's going to have to go before the committee and also full council. But I'll get back with you guys a little bit later as we appoint someone to that position interim until we get a full-time person there. Give you a little bit of update on the train accident and derailment that took place on a couple of days ago. BNSF, they're doing a fantastic job. They're moving much quicker than we actually thought that it was going to be when the accident took place. I mean, if you guys seen the actual accident on video and some of the cars that was actually on 182, it was a mess. We expect there was a meeting that we were supposed to have today at 4 o'clock. It got pushed to 5 o'clock, and when I got the last note or message with Guy Bonet about maybe 5 minutes to 5 or something like that. They hadn't started the meeting yet, but as soon as I find out what that meeting is about or was about, I'll be able to say when we're going to open up 182 for traffic. For the council, at the last meeting, council members wanted DOT to come here and give an update on the Highway 90 in the event of an accident happening, such as a hurricane and this, that, and the other, how all of this was going to work. They were scheduled to be here tonight. DOT asked if they could wait until the next council meeting because, of course, they're still working the 182 train derailment. Give you a quick update on roads and bridges. Mullins Road, we got temporary construction servitude plat that was done back in March. We surveyed and we completed, the survey was completed on April the 20th. We went out for quotations with 6 contractors actually being sent out quotes, but we received 3 submitted the actual quotes. The lowest bid came back $41,000 higher than what we actually have budgeted. So you guys are going to be talking about that in a minute. I've been working with Kim and James Trahan on how we're going to handle this here, but this should be scheduled for your next meeting to talk about the $41,000 over budget. This is a bridge that we got to get this taken care of, and we do have the funds to take care of it. So I don't expect that to be any kind of problem. La Bay Road Bridge, the survey and geotechnical field work has been completed. The design is approximately 60% completed. Once the design is completely done, we're going to go out for bids and try to get that taken care of. Vita Shaw Bridge, survey work has been completed. Hydraulic and studies are completed. The U.S. Corps of Engineers permit application is on the way. Completion of final plat and specifications are scheduled to be completed by September the 14th. We expect bids to be should be received by October the 14th, and construction is anticipated to start in November, and that should go through March of 2024. The La Bay Road, of course, we basically got everything all the asphalt has been laid down. We're waiting on striping, and then we'll get with you guys to do a substantial completion, and that's going to be it for that. One thing I want to pass on, this has been an interesting a year. Over the last 12 months, we got 10 companies investing, and this year, I guess I can call it this year alone. We got 10 companies investing in Iberia Parish, which you guys are aware of what's going on with the $1.1 billion project. But for those 10 companies, we got $1.5 billion in new and expanded buildings, facilities, and supporting infrastructure, which is creating more than 2,500 new jobs and over 33 construction and supporting jobs for our parish. This is big. We have never, ever had anything like this that I can ever remember in my time of serving on the parish council and as parish president. And one other thing I want to pass on to you, just the project with UL, in a recent announcement, UL Lafayette Research expansion in Iberia Parish is going to bring over $19 million. $19 million in new tax revenues. That's according to the UL Research estimates. So we're talking a lot of things that's going on in Iberia Parish right now. We have to keep it going. Of course, when you're talking about expansion and one thing Iberia Parish is, it is an oil and gas industry and an agriculture industry. What you've been listening to lately is kind of diversifying it a little bit because we're talking about manufacturing. And I don't want to get it twisted when we're talking about manufacturing solar panels to be shipped all over the world. We're not talking about a solar plant in Iberia Parish. We're talking about a manufacturing facility which the facility itself is going to be some 2.3 million square feet, employing 700 employees at that one facility, 24 hours a day operation. It is not a solar plant, like some people confuse it. It's a manufacturing of solar panels that they will make and ship all over the world. This is their fifth site. This particular company is a very large company, as most of you have read about, I'm sure, already. And this is the second location where they're building a $1.1 billion facility. Mr. Chairman, I have a whole bunch of stuff I could talk to you about with Public Works and things like that, but I'm going to go ahead on and end my report right here if anyone have any questions for me.
Members, at this time, are there any questions for the parish president? Hearing no requests, Mr. Richard, if you want to close.
Mr. Chairman, I'm right here in my office for the next few weeks. Of course, I can't be. I will say this. I'm very, very pleased with the progress. God is so good. As usual, he always take care of me and all of his children. But I'm so pleased to say that I have been in remission since April. I've done my final chemotherapy almost 2 months ago. I have about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks where I need to not be around a lot of people, so I'm trying to do it right because my team is telling me I did great, but my immune system is still on the low side, so I don't want to be. In fact, I was talking to Scott Saunier, I think it was last week, and we were talking about that. So my immune system is still on the low side, so I wear a mask everywhere I go when I'm around people. Of course, I'm in my office. I don't have a mask on, but things are looking good. I don't miss a beat. We working all day long. We Zoom all day. I come into my office when I can, when no one is, when I feel no one is hitting that elevator. In fact, when I came today to come to the courthouse this evening to come back here, Chad was walking up with me. So I asked Chad if he didn't mind, just let me go up the elevator by myself so I wouldn't be enclosed in that elevator with him, even though I had a mask on. But we have a lot going on in this parish. We don't have time for a lot of games. But the council, I can't say enough about you guys. I appreciate everything that you have done. I'm sure all of you are aware that the first flood control structure that we did in Jefferson Canal North is done. We're in the process right now starting Jefferson Canal South and just moving on. So thank all of you guys, and I appreciate it. I will not be able to go and talk to all of you after this meeting. So if anyone of you want to call me, just give me a call, and I'll be calling you guys later as well. Thank you.
Mr. Richard, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Mr. Belanger, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, members, moving on to consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. We have the minutes of regular meeting August 9th, 2023. Summary number 156, introduced by Lord Brown of District 4, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Ms. Rita Mays Boudreaux Landry, mother of Iberia Parish Council Member Paul G. Landry, who passed away on July 30th, 2023.
Summary number 157, introduced by the Parish President.
A resolution amending 2023 royalty fund budget in the amount of $1,620,000 to accept CPRA GOMESA funding from the state of Louisiana from Little Valley, George Lacombe, Routenville, and Stumpy Bayou water structures and appropriate engineering expenditures for said project.
I have a motion by Councilman Brown and a second by Councilman Landry to open up consent agenda items. Councilman Brown on discussion? Councilman Landry? Hearing no other discussion, there is a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier. That motion is removed. Is there any discussion on any of the consent agenda items at this time, members? Is there a request to remove one? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor was, please vote your machines, members. Still that old school from us going back to the last meeting. Councilman Brown. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption. There is none. Resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. We have summary number 158, introduced by Chad Matran, District 14. Madam Clerk.
A resolution requesting administration to obtain quotes for the side booming of 1, main drainage laterals, 2, major channels, and 3, roadside ditches in the districts.
I have a motion by Councilman Trahan and a second by Councilman Matran. Councilman Trahan, discussion. Waive. Councilman Trahan waives. Any discussion on the main motion, members? Go ahead, I'm sorry. Put his mic on.
Like to give me some numbers right here, just to give y'all an idea.
Yeah,
My
bring it
bad.
down.
We have roadside, we have 699.58 miles of roadside. Main channels, 242 miles of main channels, and lateral, 705 miles. Total is 1646.58. I'm guessing when we get some numbers back, then we can kind of critique and see what we want to do, if we can even do it. I mean, nothing's changed. There's some of that bloodweed in there is about 17, 18 feet tall. It's not getting any better. The heat's definitely not killing it, so I'd like to see where this ends up at when we get some numbers.
Thank you, Councilman Mathurin. Councilman Mathurin yields back. Councilman Saunier is recognized on discussion.
Yeah, so whoever's gonna put the request out, I think it's, I don't know how y'all are gonna request the information, but I'm assuming it's gonna be based on linear footage and the width and depth of the channel, so that, I don't wanna just get a bulk quote back to do 1,600 miles of drainage. So if we have whatever y'all can do, Bo, to kinda get it to a point where we would understand if we piecemealed it, you know, what we could afford to do, and based on, you know, the priority of the channels and the size of them.
I do want to say before we go any further, we kind of broad on the summary here. Is there more in-depth or more of a focus you want to obtain?
When I presented, I was looking more at main channels, and then there was some
I agree.
discussion about roadside. I think roadside's being cut quite a bit more often than the field.
Five rounds a year.
Yeah, 5 rounds compared to once on the field drain, so.
So before we end discussion on the main motion, would you want to amend that just to be more
That's
direct for the
fine.
administration?
I don't know who had put up with roadside, but I mean, I don't wanna
Okay.
just, you know.
No, that's
take
not a
away
problem.
from
I think there's
somebody.
no objection to that. I just, the main channels is where, you know,
Yeah,
we
your main
talked about
channels, yeah,
what the city's going to be doing, and we'd like to mimic some of that.
right.
Okay, Councilman Saunier yields back. Councilman Landry, Michael Landry is recognized for discussion.
Did we get how much of the parish doing right now at all the miles and stuff? How much cutting we doing or clearing those channels?
Mr. Landry, hold on one second. Mr. Miguez, if you can come to the mic, please, so that we all can hear your response and it's on the record. Not often we get to see you, sir. It's always a pleasure when you are here, though. Mr. Miguez, if you can just state your name and title for the record, please.
Dexter Miguez, Albury Parish Government.
I
Public
apologize,
Works
Mr.
Director.
Landry. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, just do you have even an estimate of how much, like with the main channels and the laterals, how much are we cutting per year?
Per year, we cut it by district. As far as miles goes, I can't tell you right now, but what Chad just said a while ago, was the last time they updated that was in 2005. Everybody's district, I have the list right here, how many miles you have in each district, but a lot of roads were added. The problem we have right now is getting, like if you order something, we have a brand new tractor with a spring, a $2 spring. It just came in after about 2 months. Brand new tractor just sitting there.
So-
So-
I think y'all doing a great job with the amount of people, but I know y'all can't catch everything, and I agree with Chad. Y'all need some help. So I was just wondering if it was 20%, 50% if we catching per year, or what? I was just
Maybe
wondering.
30 or 40%, maybe.
That's good. I'm good.
Okay, Councilman Landry yields back. Mr. Miguez, can you recommend to the council or give us a recommendation to go with the administration on what would be more of a priority that you'd like to see? Obviously, you're out in the field more than we are, so.
The main laterals, there's
Okay.
so many trees that are down in the laterals, like from the hurricanes over the years, they end up being underneath the water, but we don't have the equipment to really challenge that, you know?
Okay. We do have another question by Councilman Saunier.
Yeah, so we need to be specific when we request the quotes. Side booming is one thing, cleaning and degrubbing and all that is quite something different. So if, Bo, you may want to get with Dexter and then kind of see how you need to word the request. so that we get an accurate depiction of the work that we're actually gonna get.
As far as, like I said, in 2005, that was updated, God knows what it is now. There's a bunch of roads that were added through the years. I think it's 1,600 miles on here, but I guarantee it's over 2,000. Mains, laterals, and roadside. We take care of roadside pretty good when it comes to the drainage and the cutting of the grass. But when it comes to the field ditches and the mains, we can't really do anything with the mains.
Councilman Sonia, are you finished?
Yes.
Councilman Sonia yields back. Councilman Ralston is recognized for a question.
You just said 30 to 40%. That's accomplishing with the manpower you have now? Or are you hiring more? I guess what I'm going at
We
is.
try to hire every day, but
But that's where I'm
Nobody
going with it. If we
responds.
can't hire, we not only need to keep in mind that we need to hire, but we need to maintain some sprint capacity on the outside in case you get into a problem like this. So now we're not only chasing 70, 60%, we're actually chasing probably 150% going into next year. So when we do budget, we probably need to keep this in mind that we need to set a 30, 40% sprint capacity so he doesn't run into this going forward. Thank you.
Councilman Ralston yields back. Going back to Councilman Monterey on discussion.
Yeah, it's just what this was about was more your main channels, and taking into consideration they've cleaned some channels that hadn't been cleaned in 30, 40 years. So now those channels are set to be cut, and they've already got this is no reflection on Public Works on what they're doing or not doing. This is just trying to get them some help.
Right.
And at one time they were probably making 2 rotations when you had 60-something employees. Now you're down to struggling to make 1 rotation. So that, this is not about what Public Works is not doing. This is just trying to get them some help. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Right.
Councilman Monterey, there's no other request to speak on the main motion at this time. I would entertain an amendment if you'd like.
Yeah, just we'll change it, take out your roadsides and laterals. We'll focus on the main channels at the moment.
So the request to strike the language, do I have a second on that request by the Monterey amendment? Have that second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Landry, did you have a discussion on the amendment?
I'm good.
Hearing that, any other requests to speak on the amendment? Hearing none, roll call on the amendment, members. Vote your machines. It's coming. Go ahead, try it now. Councilman Brown, Councilman Trahone. Councilman Brown on the amendment.
Okay.
The Monterey amendment passes unanimously. Back to the main motion with amendment members. Roll call. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 159, introduced by Warren P. Goshenson Jr., District 5. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing a clerk of the council for the Iberia Parish Council and fixing the annual salary for said position, all in accordance with sections 2-10.A. and B. of Home Rule Charter.
I have a motion by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Napier on discussion.
I'm gonna turn it over to you to,
Okay. I believe Ms. Donna McDonald, if you can please step to the mic, just to explain to some of the members that wouldn't hear last night, and of course the audience, ones watching at home, of how we got to this process, and then where we are as far as the pick officially, and then we can start the discussion on that if there's any. If you could just state your name and title, please.
Good afternoon, Donna McDonald, Director of Human Resources. So we had an open application process. We had 44 applicants that applied for the clerk to the council. So we did a review process with a group of council members. We narrowed it down to 6 applicants that were qualified, had the qualifications. We interviewed all 6, and then we further narrowed it down to 3. And then the 3 came before the council last night and were interviewed by the council. And then they made a recommendation to move forward for tonight, to make a recommendation. I know that's a short summary, so if y'all have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, at this time, if you can officially name her, just for the record, so that everybody, well, again, at this time, did she, our
Yes.
recommendation from committee was accepted?
So the applicant that was agreed upon last night, I called her, and it's the Assistant Clerk to the Council, Carrie Terry. So I explained that she would be offered the position, and she did officially accept it. if she, would be approved tonight.
Good. Ms. McDonald, I want to just say it's been a pleasure working with you through this process. I know 44 applicants, and to get down to where we were last night is incredible. So thank you for your leadership. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilman Napier, you still had the floor.
So I want to do the same. So, Ms. Donna and Ms. Brenda, and that's who we were replacing is Ms. Brenda. Both of them having 30-plus years with Iberia Parish government. There's no way that we can replace either one of y'all, but we're going to surely try. So I sat on that committee with these two ladies, with several of the council members, and we had 44. We read each one, just to let everyone know, we read each resume, and I think the first round we got down to 13, then we came back, and we got to 6 or so, and we dug in a little deeper, and we brought in, like she said, 4 or 5, and we sat there about where Ian's at, and so we didn't just pick Carrie. We went through the whole list just to let everyone know, and we spent a few nights out here, and the whole council came together last night and interviewed the top 3 again, and congratulations, Carrie, and thanks to the ladies that helped us out. I don't think we could have done it without Ms. Donna and Ms. Brenda. So that's all I have. I just want to thank you, and thank y'all for y'all service that y'all have given to Iberia Parish government and to Iberia Parish.
The gentleman from District 11 yields back. The gentleman from District 2, Mr. Landry, is recognized.
I guess I'm gonna beat the drums right now. Brenda and Donna, thank y'all, because y'all help us through this whole process. And I think y'all have helped every council member in here who came on. We appreciate it, and I definitely appreciate what y'all have done this last couple of weeks, because this was a rough decision, and I was pleasantly surprised that we got 44 people that applied for this job.
Yeah.
So thank y'all very much. And, I'm keeping y'all on speed dial if I need y'all. So thank y'all. I'm good.
The gentleman from District 2 yields back. Hearing no other request to speak, I just want to say, Ms. Carey, congratulations. I know we've already been working together for at least, the last 9, 10, 11 months. It's been a pleasure already. I know you're learning a lot under Brenda, and I appreciate what you're taking on. It's not easy, but you do have the opportunity now if you would like to address the council officially. As, I guess, the interim clerk, or the official interim clerk.
While she's walking up, if I could just say, Brenda and I are so appreciative of the honor and the privilege that we've had to serve the public, and everybody has been so gracious over the years and so helpful. So thank y'all very much. We very much
Ms.
appreciate
Donna, I would
it.
offer you a tissue, but we don't have it, but we have
No.
a bottle of water.
I'm trying not to cry.
Thank you, Ms.
so
Donna.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Ms. Carey, if you can just state your name and new title for the record, please.
My name is Carrie Terry, and I am the interim clerk of council until, I don't know if I am interim yet, but I am accepting the position. I graciously accept the position. I want to thank each and every one of you for your votes, for having faith and trust in me to serve as clerk of the council, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you so
And
much.
doing-
We
thank
appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, members, here no other discussion for the main motion. Please vote your machines. Yes, ma'am. For what reason does the? We did have a point of order by Councilwoman Broussard to point out for the, okay, but I'm looking on the next line item, it seems that it's in there at 58,000.
We have to determine what her salary is gonna be from tonight until she takes the position on September 29th as the clerk in training, according to the resolution.
That's a good point of order, Madam Broussard. Members, I'm all ears if there's any recommendations on the floor. Anybody want to go ahead and press your button? I do have one by Councilman Landry.
Did I mean, were there any discussions to raise her salary from tonight to September 28th?
I don't think that came out in the committee, members, and I apologize for that. You know, we was,
Because if it's no discussion, I don't think, and this is my personal belief, that we need to raise her salary till she takes the job.
okay, let me go around to more discussion, and then we'll come back to consensus at that point. Thank you, Mr. Landry, for your input on that. Councilman Napier on discussion?
So I don't know if I could ask this question, but Brenda, when you, I know that was, so when, it's been a while, I'm sure, but so when you came into this, was that, what time frame was there, but, you know, when you took over from Diane?
I believe I was appointed in May 2014.
If you,
Wrong one.
I was appointed, Diane placed the resolution on the agenda in May of 2014, and it was to accept her resignation and then to appoint me, and her resignation became effective July 3rd, and my appointment became effective July 4th.
Was your salary
No.
raised? You stayed at the same assistant?
Because my title was still assistant clerk until she retired.
okay.
So me personally, I'm like Michael too, and it's only a month, you know, that we, now, we did, I don't know, can we talk about what we talked about last night?
That's all in the resolution.
I
So
mean,
that's all
the
there.
step,
Yeah, that's
it's-
all in the
it's- yeah.
resolution, so that's
So-
all there.
So so all we talking about tonight is from now till,
Right, so we
October
would have
first.
to, if that's the consent of the council, I think we need to amend the resolution just to delete that paragraph. Or
Yes,
insert her
insert-
current
oh,
salary.
Right.
to whatever the current.
And we
is.
have to be careful if we even decide to go up on it, which I know it's only a 30-day period, but we're talking about the budget at this point of paying and knowing how close we are to going over the budget without an amendment on the budget. So just peace of mind, members. Councilman Napier yields back. Councilman Saunier is recognized.
Yeah, look, Warren, in regards to the budget, if we are that close, and it is 30 days, my suggestion would be, there's a couple of reasons. That would be one. The other one would be to leave her salary where it is right now, make the change as it states at that date. It'll do a couple things. We can remain within budget. She knows she's going to get the raise at that particular point. And within a 30-day period, if we have to do that many status changes, it's going to
Yeah.
cost us more
Yeah.
than we're going to spend on doing it.
I agree with that.
Okay, Councilman Saunier yields back. Councilman Landry again on discussion.
I just want to make a motion that we leave her salary as is until she takes the job.
Mr. Landry, if without disrespect, we still have a little more discussion on the main menu, but if, the main motion, but I'll come back to you and hold that
Okay,
amendment for you. Councilwoman Broussard on the main motion?
I was substituting his second.
Oh.
I mean, I was seconding his substitute.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, well, look, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you since you have the live mic. I have a motion on the amendment to the main motion by Councilwoman Broussard. Is it okay with the second by Councilman Landry to leave us, you said it was
To set her
42.5?
salary at the current salary.
Okay.
Until she takes the
It's
position.
December 20th, 29th.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the Broussard amendment, members? Seeing no request, vote your machines, members. This is on the amendment. Councilman Brown, Councilwoman Broussard. That motion carries unanimously. Back to the main motion with the amendment. Roll call, members. Councilman Napier? That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to ordinances introduced for publication. Summary number 5254, introduced by the clerk of the council. This is just for publication, members. Madam Clerk?
An ordinance revising existing precinct boundaries and authorizing the merging of certain qualifying precincts in Iberia Parish as a result of the 2023 precinct survey that identified those precincts with fewer than 300 active voters in accordance with LA R.S. 18 532.1, which ordinance shall become effective for the 2024 election cycle as allowed by law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just to remind the general public, our next meeting is September 13th, and that adjudicated properties are still available on our website at www.iberiaparishgovernment.com. I think I might have said too many W's right there, Mr. Wilson. I'll need a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Vote your machines, members, on adjournment. Councilman Trahone? That motion passes unanimously. We're now adjourned.